Hey y'all. It is your girl, Brianna Edwards, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Locked In, where highlights meet headlines and the conversations stay real, no fluff, no filters, just real sports, real stories, and real talk. And before we get into it, let's before we get into our Twin Cities update, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge one of our amazing partners at Urban League Twin Cities. So if you're stuck in your job and ready for a career, Urban League Twin Cities can help train for careers in tech, construction, entrepreneurship, and more. You have an opportunity to earn certificates, get one-on-one coaching, connect to employers hiring now. Visit them at the corner of Penn and Plymouth in North Minneapolis, or call 612-302-3100, or visit them at ultcmn.org today. Thank you, Twin Cities Urban League, for being one of our trusted partners. And let's jump right into our Twin Cities update. I would like to talk about it. If you did not hear, Olivia Miles is currently in the top 7 of the 10 All-Star WNBA votes. So we got Aja Wilson leading right now with all of the votes coming behind her. It's going to be Paige Beckers. And then you have Aaliyah Boston, Brianna Stewart, and Caitlin Clark. Now let's talk about them before we talk about Olivia Miles. I don't understand who was voting for all the Indiana Fever players, but why is it multiple of them in the top 10? Well, the top 20 of the voting right now. I don't understand. They're not doing that well, respectfully. And they're just not deserving, in my opinion. Yes, Aaliyah Boston. Yes, Caitlin Clark. She's finally picking it up. But right now, I don't understand who the voters are. But the next set of top voters will be Jessica Shepard. Shout out to Jess Shep. Okay, you about to become your first All-Star game, or maybe I think it is your first All-Star game. And then you have Angel Reese, who is one of my favorites. Gabby Williams, who is with the Golden State Valkyrie. And then you have Olivia Miles. And then and the ending at the 10th is Kelsey Mitchell, which I don't understand how Kelsey is behind Caitlin Clark. It doesn't make sense to me. But whoever is voting, vote differently. All right. And so in our next update, I also want to talk about something. If you didn't get an opportunity earlier last week, after I think it was respectfully on Tuesday, Olivia Miles had 24 points in the first half, shooting 90% against the Sparks. She shot 10 from 11 from the field, which is crazy. And then we'll talk about later what had transpired the next game. But Olivia Miles is still hooping, and she hooped last night, but we'll talk a little about it a little bit more later. But then I want to talk about the Timberwolves. Even though they're not in season, I would like to say that Cat trolled Anthony Edwards. He wound up FaceTiming him after he won, holding his trophy, smoking a cigar. So I'm not saying that he was trying to rub, salt in the trade scar for Ant, but, they are friends. But the possibilities, if we would have kept Cat, I'm not saying we would have won a championship right away, but I honestly agree that we would at least be in the Western Conference Finals again, or even in the finals in general. But I guess I'll just throw that out the window. In other NBA news, New York Knicks owner James Dolan accepted the invitation to the White House, but the players declined. So it looks like it's going to be the owner and his friends and the orange man in the White House sitting there sipping on martinis, because some of the Knicks players are not showing up. And I'm not mad at them, even though the headlines are saying that they're going to be the first NBA team under I can't even believe I just said president, under Donald Trump administration to visit the White House. But I think it's just going to be the owner, and I wouldn't be mad. Next things next, news is going that we're looking to sign for the Vikings Harrison Reddick, and he is a rusher, and everyone's saying that we have an opportunity to have a phenomenal roster, and it's swinging towards Kyle Murray being our QB1, but we don't know yet. It's still happening. But if we get this rusher, we have an opportunity to take a run at the NFC North. So let's see. Hopefully it's questionable, but we'll see. Next, the Twins are getting closer to being 500. I told y'all I believe in them. They closed out a series beating the Rangers last week 3-0, then closed out another series beating the Diamondbacks 2-1, and now they are 38-41. But it's a tough one coming up next, because they're playing the defending champions, the LA Dodgers, in the next 3-game series, and the Dodgers are the truth. And if you didn't watch the Dodgers, that's the only team that I watched and paid attention to last year. They are really like that. And they have 2 Japanese, is it Japanese? I don't want to get canceled, so we're not even going to talk about that. But they have a pitcher who's dynamic, and they have a guy who continues to keep setting all, and I'm going to butcher their name, so we're not going to say them. But we're going to move on to the Aurora. The Aurora has finished out, and they have clinched their payoff berth and won the Heartland division. They finally allowed someone to score a goal, but they won their last game 4-1. And this marks their 5th straight playoffs trip. Post-game play will start on July 3rd and July 5th on the road at some predetermined location. They have not announced that yet. But if we win, we have an opportunity to have the semifinal match and the finals match in Minnesota at home. So the Aurora, we're rooting for you. We would like to see y'all win this championship. And next, we're going to go on to the Vixens. They finally announced who their first round against, who they'll be playing against in the playoffs. And it is their rival, the St. Louis Slam women's football team. So this Saturday at 7 p.m., be there or be square at KLAS Field, because it's the first round of the playoffs and the Slam beat us last time 10-7. So let's rock out for the Vixens. And before I get into my next thing, I'm going to take a quick break for a song break. And so when I come back, we're going to talk about what's going on around the W. I will see y'all soon. We gonna talk about him touching somebody's body. I don't know who body he was touching. He ain't gonna touch my body. But we're gonna get right into our next segment and talk about what's going on in the W. And when I say what's going on in the W, that means the WNBA. And if y'all have not been paying attention, the WNBA has been buzzing. Now, granted, as a former athlete, I've been watching the WNBA for years, and now y'all are getting an opportunity to see the greatness that I have been a fan of since I've ever picked up a basketball. But first things first, the WNBA is now expanding their schedule to 50 games under the new CBA. So that is an additional 6 more games are going to be added, extending their season a little bit further, getting closer to the NBA season. So I'm excited to see that because, well, of course, they're playing the players. They're paying them. So that makes sense why they're extending the games. But I'm happy that we get 6 more games, especially because we keep getting new teams. So that's going to be dope. Next, the Commissioner's Cup final match is set. Now, I'm a little mad about this, even though I like A'ja Wilson, okay? I'm happy that she is having all the success, but that should have been the Minnesota Lynx. However, so we have the Liberty versus the Aces, and that will be on June 30th. So tune in on Prime to get to see that championship game go down. Next, Angel Reese is the fastest player to reach 1,000 points and rebounds. Angel, I'm going to do a little side note of this. I'm so happy that you are continuing to keep thriving because your haters are real. If you go take a look at my comments on my last post, it's crazy how many people hate on Angel Reese. And I'm going to continue to keep talking about this. Angel Reese is the reason why the WNBA is getting so much attention and so much positive marketing. She's a marketing guru. So shout out to you being the fastest players to reach 1,000 points and 1,000 rebounds. Next, Dawn went to go support her former players at the Dream versus the Fever game. Y'all, Dawn Staley had 7 former players that will be between the 2 rosters. That is crazy. It's giving the equivalent of John Calipari with Kentucky. I'm just saying, I don't know, but Don got a lot of WNBA players. And so if you didn't get an opportunity to watch that game, go back and watch that game. And so sorry, Tahina Pow, because I hope your ankles are doing great, because I seen that viral clip and I apologize. I've never seen two ankles touch the ground at the same exact time, but y'all did win. So shout out to y'all. And next in the W, we are going to get into the Minnesota Lynx and the Lynx in between the lines. And we're going to talk about the game that they had yesterday. And I'm disappointed that we lost. However, we get our get back soon. But after I take this quick break, I'm going to take a little bit more water and we're going to come back and we're going to talk about the Lynx between the lines. All right, I'm back. I done folded my clothes for Kaylani and I packed them outside. Not for my man, but somebody else's. But let's get into the Lynx between the lines. So before we talk about yesterday's game, I want to talk about the performance against Portland. Now, Olivia Miles got her first career technical, and I loved it. Listen, Olivia Miles be talking her stuff. And if you watched the game last night, they zoomed in a lot of times and some censored words, as she said. But she received her first career technical, and if you watch it back, I don't think she deserved it. Refs, y'all got to slack. Y'all got to, come on. All right. We are competitive. It's okay for us to talk stuff to somebody. As long as we don't put our hands on nobody, we don't push them, don't shove them. Those technical fouls are stupid, in my opinion, okay? And another thing happened in our next game is against the Sparks. Kayla McBride made history, becoming the 5th most three-point made in the WNBA. Shout out to Kayla McBride, the bucket, the defensive specialist, the three-point specialist, because now she has passed. She's getting closer. I don't know if she's going to catch Diana Taurasi, but she's getting, we don't know, but hopefully, because Diana Taurasi is in quadruple double digits. But shout out to Kayla McBride for getting and hitting that milestone. Now let's get into the Mystics game, okay? Minnesota Lynx. Let's talk about it. All right, so started off strong. They had 9 of their first 14 points coming off turnovers. Courtney Williams came in real hot mid-range, looking like butter, shooting 3 for 4. Then Miles had some nice layups. We were offensive rebounding, of course, led by Natasha Howard. Then we came off shooting 48% from the field, and we in the first quarter tied up. Great. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Then next second quarter, this is why I miss Dorka. And I'm going to tell you why I miss Dorka. Dorka is going to be huge for us being a backup center and creating a depth in a center position, because that's what I think that we're lacking. However, Miles took over early, giving a key dime to McCoven, and then a layup against her former teammate Centron. But Nia Coffey, Sydney is her sister. Coffey sets the tone on defense despite having her 2 fouls, but it was really hard for us to cover Kiki. Kiki was kicking our tail in the paint, and we just couldn't pull away. But Caldwell gets a steal and forces a couple offensive fouls against Centron going through a screen, and a couple defensive plays forces the Mystics to take a timeout. So after that steal and that layup from Williams, we found a way to get a 7-point lead going to halftime, 42-35. But this is when it gets interesting, because the third quarter starts and we just continue to exchange buckets back and forth. And so our lead started to diminish. Even though Howard, Miles, and Williams all were in double figures, the Mystics decided to close the gap around about the 5:52 mark, and now they're only down by 2. And so at this point, it forces Cheryl Reeves to take a timeout to kind of resettle. But after that timeout, Natasha Howard and McMahon get into a tussle. I think it was just arms was wrapped, and Cheryl Reeves received a technical foul because she was sticking up for Howard. But then after that, you think that technical foul would ignite the Lynx, but it didn't, because the Mystics went on a 13-4 run. And so now they got the lead. But then after that, Olivia Miles went on a 7-0 run by herself, and we regained the lead. And so 9 of Olivia Miles' 17 points at that point came from that quarter. So we go up, going into the fourth up 60-56. But here's when it gets interesting. And here's where it gets on my nerves, because after that, the Mystics started off a run 9-2. Now, Kayla McBride did knock down a 3, giving the Lynx the first lead again, because they wound up losing their lead. But then Williams come in right away and hits a big up pull up. But after that, it was terrible. And let me tell you why it was terrible, because the Lynx allowed 3 straight offensive rebounds. Then Kayla McBride, they turned the ball over when Olivia Miles tried to pass it to her. Then after careless turnovers, missed box out, the Lynx find themselves down 80-76. And then after that, the Mystics could have a 14-0 run and we lose the game. But here's my take. Even though we lost, the thing that was most impressive is Nia Coffey. I know I've been kind of throwing her to the side, because I know once Nafisa gets back, she's going to take those minutes. But what Nia Coffey brings to that team is something that's irreplaceable. She can knock down the 3 consistently, and she does all the little things. That's meaning defending the person that she needs to defend, getting offensive rebounds, getting the defensive rebounds. And so I'm excited, because once Fee's back, that gives us more bench production, because for the last couple games, we've been lacking that. So Nia Coffey, shout out to you, baby girl. You're killing it, and I know that your role is going to change, but stay confident. Keep doing what you need to do, because once Fee's back, I believe that that's going to add depth and help us be even stronger than we actually are. Next, Courtney Williams. I know everyone's talking about Olivia Miles, but we're going to put her as last. So my last point that I'm going to talk about, Courtney Williams is playing so free. And Cheryl wound up saying that Courtney is playing at her natural position. And I'm happy that Cheryl has left her off the leash and she stopped to confine her, because when Courtney is in a box, she doesn't play that well. But right now, because she's off the ball and only have to close the game when she needs to, she is hooping. And she is leading the second in leading scorer, and then first in assists. Well, second in assists behind Olivia Miles. So Courtney, keep doing your thing. I appreciate it. I'm happy that you're happy. And I'm happy that you're allowing Olivia Miles to take that starting point guard position, and you're playing your natural position like you did in college. And last, before I go into my final thoughts, I'm really curious. Olivia Miles did not play well against the Sparks. She shot about 1 for 10 for her performance. And then against the Valkyrie, she played really, really well into the end. I need more from Olivia Miles, and I'm not talking about offense. As a coach, watching her, I need her to do more on the help side when it comes to defense. Not because I don't think she's available and she's able to, but Olivia Miles gets hit with a lot of backdoor cuts. So I think you're great, but I want to see more from you. As a coach, I need that defensive help side to look better. Okay. And I know Cheryl's probably got on you in some film sessions. Get it together on that. But as my final thought to wrap up this Lynx game, we need to remain disciplined on offense. We got to stop settling for jump shots once we get a lead. We need to run our sets and get great shots, meaning layups. That fourth quarter, we shot 4 consecutive jump shots. That can't happen. We need to limit our turnovers, secure defensive rebounds, because how is it that they got 3 offensive rebounds off of free throws? That can't happen. And we got to close out the game. But on the flip side, we get an opportunity on Wednesday to get back at the Mystics. And I think it's going to be a blowout, respectfully. So before I transition to my music break and bring on my guests, we got some breaking news. Serena and Venus Williams are returning to Wilmington. They're about to play. They're going to play. Listen, I don't know if y'all excited. I watch tennis. That's the only sport I know just as well as basketball. Okay. To have the 2 GOATs come back at doubles is amazing. And then they announced 2 days ago that Serena also is going to be playing in singles. I'm dope. I'm excited. I don't know if y'all excited. If you're not, y'all sleep under a rock. But you got to think these 2 black women set the tone when it comes to women tennis. All right. So the matches start on the 29th and I'm going to be tuned in. So know that I'm going to be talking about Serena and Venus for the duration. I hope they win because they deserve it. Next, if you haven't heard about it, Giannis is announcing he's not announcing. The Bucks are going to trade him officially before the draft tomorrow. And guess who I think they're going to trade him for? I believe by tomorrow, Giannis is going to be a Boston Celtics and Jaylen Brown is going to be a Milwaukee Bucks uniform. And right now it's only down to 2 teams, but looking what Trae Young did today, it's not going to be Miami. And the reason why it's not going to be Miami, because it was supposed to be Giannis and Trae going to Miami, but now Miami doesn't have enough to offer to Giannis, in my opinion. So you're going to see Jaylen Brown get what he wants, I guess. Hopefully he wants that. Milwaukee is a small market compared to Boston, but looks like he's going to be in a Milwaukee Bucks jersey. Last, the big 3. And if you didn't see it, get an opportunity when I take this commercial break. Go Google what happened. Michael Beasley was ejected from the game for throwing a punch at Dwight Howard. And Lance Stevenson, if you don't know, likes to fight. He threw some punches and the game was called off. Why I do not like that is because this is a black man. Ice Cube started this market and now it's being ruined by black men. There has to be room for us to put our egos aside and literally do what's right by this organization. And I appreciate that Mike Beasley went on live and apologized, whatever apology that was. But apology for me is only accepted for change behavior. So meaning you can't continue to keep doing the same thing and playing the crazy I'm going through it person and believe that people are going to continue to keep dealing with that. Now, right now, Ice Cube gave you a pass because they only suspended you and Lance Stevenson for a game. But y'all need to get y'all stuff together because no one has time. Ice Cube did all this work to get these major contracts and he's about to become a public company. How are he's going to look marketable to those who don't look like us if y'all continue to keep acting a donkey? Get it together. All right. And I'm going to go on my song break. And when I come back, I'm going to have my guest, Bruce Williams, come in. And it's going to be a dope conversation. We're going to talk about some amazing things. And I am excited. So go take a bathroom break. Get you some water. It's only going to be 3 minutes. And we're going to be right back. Okay, we are right back with the bathtub running. Do you hear me? I don't know. That was a great song. I don't know. It sound real seductive, real great. But we have Bruce Williams in the house. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. What's up?
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And if you do not know him, I met Bruce originally as a comedian because he was one of the founders of, what was it called?
Baddies
Comedy Club. It was the first black-owned comedy club.
Yeah, I never know how people know me. That's the crazy. I was just explaining this to somebody. It's like I'll be out somewhere, and people be looking at me and be like, "Okay, you know me," but then I never know like from what.
Yep.
Like, so have you ever had somebody come up to say congratulations?
And I'm like, what thing did I do? I did a couple things.
Right.
So that's how I first originally met you. What was that? 2016?
Who knows?
Lord. So it's about 10 years. That's how I met Bruce. Then I got an opportunity to interview him for my own personal platform that I had prior to this. And then we worked together for wellness stuff. And Bruce is just amazing. So if you don't know Bruce, he's phenomenal. And the crazy thing is I'm going to introduce this audience to how I actually found out that Bruce was an athlete. He posted a video talking about the state record holder for track. I said, Bruce, you ran? I had no idea. So Bruce, you got an opportunity to break records as an athlete. All right. Now you're a comedian, wellness advocate, business owner. I want to talk about your athletic experience. Like, how has that prepared you in life? And also talk about what you have accomplished as an athlete.
So athletics, for me, just was a pivotal change in my life. Before athletics, like structured athletics, it was play. I was doing things just out of play, and that's kind of how I figured out what I liked to do. And through athletics, I think that as a young athlete, you think you're learning how to play football, or you're learning how to run track, or you're learning this, you're learning that. But as an adult, I look back and realize I was learning my style of learning.
Yeah.
I was learning how I retain information. I was learning how the feedback that came immediately was detrimental to me being successful. And I think that especially like in a classroom, it's totally different. I mean, comedian, I'm class clown, right? Because this is boring. This is not my style of learning. But out there, I'm thriving. I'm on the field, I'm thriving. On the track, I'm thriving because I'm actually in the mix. I'm learning through experience. So
how has your experiences as an athlete prepared you for what you're doing now, right? You're a father, you're a business owner, you are leading the community in wellness in multiple aspects. Like how did that even come about, for one? And then how has being an athlete prepared you?
So I think that because I played multiple different sports, I experienced athletics in a few different ways. For instance, track and field is different from football. And through athletics, I learned how I learn. I learned the things that I like. And to this day, like I know that I still like being a part of the team. I still like being in competition. I still like challenges. I still like learning new things. So I also still know that my ADHD is strong, and so I can get on a tangent and forget what
so I already know. I knew it. I can see it in your eyes. And the funny thing is, he don't know. What do you say? Stands for he don't. I don't think we can say that word.
My ADHD. I said the ADHD stand for he don't know what the heck he doing
at all. So what I was asking you is, how did being an athlete prepare you for what you're doing right now? So what it sounds like is you're able to multitask, but not with his ADHD.
It's the multiple different sports. Like all of these things are very similar to what you're learning in the classroom. It's just a different setting. Like I got a whole degree in management, but I was managing things already. I was managing having to go to class. I was managing having to keep up my grades. I was managing being able to be in sports and eligible and a leader. I was managing my own self-care and being able to go to college for however long it took me. Don't judge me. And still be able to compete at a high level. I kind of was in school for management, but I was already learning like life management. Because I mean, realistically, like in college, you could just be a student.
Yeah.
You could just go to class and then go back to the dorms and kick it and chill. You don't have any other responsibility. Maybe you have to get a job. Maybe you're on scholarship. I don't know what that life is like because my life was different. I had to go to study hall in the morning. Then I had to go to class and they were checking to see if I was in my classes. So I had to go, right? Then after that, I had to go to another study hall and make sure that I was eating because if I don't eat, I'm not going to be able to perform. So all of these things are setting me up. I don't know this at the time, but these are things that I'm implementing into my life. These are disciplines that I am acquiring in my little toolbox. My experience points are going up to the point to where when I am released out into the wild, I have these muscle memories, what they call. It's just like sport. They say, hey, you practice this. You gain these muscle memories. I'm getting these same muscle memories when it comes to just life skills.
100%. And the funny thing is I can agree, right? Like everything that I do now, I'm the same person I was when I picked up a basketball. Right. I'm just sharpening them. I fine tune my craft, right?
Right.
And I'm curious, right? Because I know I went through this, but when you were an athlete and you transition into what you're doing now, did you ever kind of go through like an identity shift? And how did you even get into what you're doing? Like, I know you said naturally you were a class clown, but how did you go from having a management degree to becoming a comedian and a wellness practitioner?
So I think that I didn't go towards these things. They just kind of came to me. It was a point in my life to where I was like, okay, I did everything I was supposed to do. I got a full ride I got multiple full ride scholarships. Got my college paid for. I got a degree. I've worked for Fortune 500 companies. I did everything that I was supposed to do as an athlete. I rode that train track. Eventually, I got to the point to where it's like I want to do the things that I love, and that was one thing I was doing while I was in athletics. Is I was also doing stuff that I love. I discovered yoga in college. Just, a girl invited me to a class, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm doing this not only because it's dope in here, but because I realized really quickly how beneficial this was going to be just to my overall experience as an athlete. And so like it just was an accumulation of just life experience and me being able to recognize in what direction to go, basically.
So now, right, for a normal person who doesn't know what yoga is, right? I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, they just in there stretching.
Yeah,
okay,
I thought the
stretching
same
and
thing.
breathing.
I thought the
How
same
would
thing.
you define what yoga is from your perspective?
And I love that you said those last two words, from your perspective. What I say is going to be totally different from what somebody else experiences as an individual, because everybody experiences it differently. And so for me, yoga, initially I was like, okay, stretching and breathing. But after the first class, I was like, wow, that was way more intense than I thought it was going to be. And it doesn't look like, from the outside looking in, it doesn't seem like it would be this. But then the next day, my body felt really, really, really good. And I was like, oh, yeah, this is something that I have to add. And so if I was to tell people what yoga is from my perspective, I would say for me, when I really took my yoga practice seriously, I started to be able to identify things that I was experiencing. So it was like, how like, it's not that I learned a new technique, but I found out what something I was doing was called. It's like, oh, this is what I'm experiencing. Oh, this is why I feel like this. Oh, this is how these two things work together. But there also was a lot of learning involved as well. And so people initially hear the word yoga and they think arms out or sitting cross-legged with my hands like this, but realistically, there's a system that when you put each of these pieces of this system into play, it just helps with, how do I say this? Just makes your life just gets better.
It just flows.
Yeah, I know that sounds so cliche, like your life gets better.
It is.
But it's realistically, like I said, when you the philosophy describes things to you that you're like, oh, that's what that is. And so now I'm able to identify that. My antennas have gone up so I can identify things. And that's kind of how life works. It's like, if you start to take a real estate class right now and you've never taken real estate classes before, when you're driving down the street, you're going to start seeing stuff talking about real estate.
Oh, 100%.
And you done drove down this street 300 times. Since you was a kid, you've been driving, and never in your life has, oh, that is Keller Williams right there. Never in your life have those things stopped, but you called it into your life. Same thing with a yoga practice. It's like, once you start, it's going to come to you and it starts to show you stuff.
And so, okay, now I'm happy that you said that, because that speaks to like the popularity, in my opinion, right? Now you're seeing these things, but outside of your own personal practice, I hear this all the time: mindfulness, meditation, yoga.
Trigger words.
all these things.
Gluten free, cage, all of that. It's just words that sell. And so realistically, like I said, everybody is gonna experience something different, and the experience is gonna be based off what you need, and it is very much so unique to yourself. For me, when I first found yoga, I needed something that was slower but exponentially bigger. And so when I found this practice, I said, okay, this is really cool because I can be like, I can dial it down and it still be intense enough for me to be like, for my style of learning or life experience. So
now, right, I have implemented that, like yoga, meditation, mindfulness in the practice when it comes to my athletes, to understand the importance of visualization. Did I say that right? I think, yeah, I think I did. I think I probably added some
public school
syllables.
is all good.
You know what, Bruce? Okay. You know what, Bruce? But I recognize how important it is for someone to be centered and be able to see it before it happens. Why do you think it's important, if it is important to you, for athletes or people in general to have that type of practice?
I think that it is very important for that person who has that style of learning or like achieving something. Everybody brain don't work like that. And I had to learn this from speaking, and people were like, what do you mean a movie is playing when you're hearing something or when you're saying something? Like for me, if somebody is explaining something to me, sometimes I'm looking and like it's like putting a picture together,
Yeah,
like visualization, right? That doesn't work for everybody. And so I think more of just awareness and just like being able to bring yourself from extreme lows and extreme highs back to that center, or even be able to control yourself into extreme highs or control yourself into extreme lows. Those are all tools.
Yeah.
Like if you have control of that, that is power beyond measure in athletics. And you see that when you look at those extreme, like Mamba mentality, when you look at the athletes that really, really stand out, they have the ability to turn their volume all the way up without being loud.
that's a word. Turn their volume up without being loud. Okay, listen, I hope that y'all are catching what Bruce is talking about, right? And I'm not about to play with this man. And y'all not gonna see this until I post it to YouTube. But the man just threw a dart at the camera. Okay, and I'm happy because this is a great transition, because now you are also known for making people laugh and also creating spaces of healing. And I want to talk about why both those matter. But before we talk about that, I want you to talk about the sound bath experience that you have created that I got to enjoy as I was pregnant with my son, who's now 7 months.
That's right.
Right? Right? Now he's 7 months. I was pregnant when I got to enjoy it.
7 months ago is crazy.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah. So
we've been doing
talk
it for a while.
about the importance of doing that right in the hood, in the community at V3, and creating that type of experience before we talk about why I think it's important for laughter and wellness.
So it's interesting how that came about, because I said I want to incorporate sound into my wellness practice, and I don't know what that's going to look like, but it's going to happen. And then within like 3-4 months, the first floating sound bath happened. There were other things that happened that were like, yep, you sure are. And so it's really crazy to see that we're about to be a year deep into that. Now, me myself, I'm fairly new to being a practitioner, so delivering the sound outside of like I used to sing or telling jokes and sound.
You used to sing? Let me find out. It was Johnny Gill. Oh God, Lord.
But I have worked with a lot of dope sound healers over the years, and I got to connect with Aisha and Kamisha and work with them to put together this really cool experience. I don't even want to call it a sound bath, because it's much more than a sound bath. There's a lot of love and a lot of intention put into the programming that we put together. Shout out to Angelina and V as well as Dr. Asia. And V3, what? To have that pool over north? What?
Amazing.
Come on now, like we've been over there for a long time, and not to put anything down. The only pools that we've had were, kind of heavily guarded, right? We ain't really had access to them like that. Outside of North Commons, when they first built that,
it was nice.
What? When they first built that, it was crazy. I haven't been in a long time, and shout out to them for developing something even bigger and better for the community. That's so awesome. But V3 has been like a staple in my wellness journey, especially for the past few years since they've been up. And it was only right for me to be like, oh yeah, this is where we're doing it.
Yeah.
And like their pool is perfect for what we do. The height of it is perfect, and they're building another pool.
And courts. They're doing a lot.
They're doing a lot. We're like, so that whole little Plymouth and Lindale corner is about to be bussing with wellness, and those teal and white letters.
B3 let it go be everywhere.
Big buildings over north are important, man, because I think that it shows that we have facilities to grow.
Yeah.
We
have infrastructure enough.
We need that because like during the wintertime, a lot of programs just stop.
They just shut down.
Or we have to go to Minnetonka, or we got to go to Wayzata. We got to drive to Chaska. And so V3, North Commons.
I can't wait for it to get up and running. And y'all better allow me to use them courts for AAU tournaments and stuff.
We need all of that.
We need some money to come back to the hood.
Right,
okay?
Right.
And I'm happy that you talked about the sound bath being an experience. If you have not got an opportunity to go, it is an experience. And I'm happy that I did that while I was with my son, because I got an opportunity to meditate. And not only meditation is a part of my life. I could be better. I've probably done it more now that I'm in a relationship because my partner meditates a lot. But it is, and it's funny because I remember I had a conversation with you. I said, sometimes my mind gets lost when I'm meditating. And he was like, that's an actual form of meditation. Yeah. That you can like just let it go. And I'm like, really? Because I'll be going here and then here and here.
There's a misconception. All of this stuff is foreign.
Yeah.
Let's just put it out there. It's all foreign. And so it's very normal for there to be misconceptions when you have something foreign like this. But people get stuck in those misconceptions and they don't explore. People think that I can't meditate because I always get to thinking about stuff. Well, that's exactly what it is. It's like you go to the gym. You don't throw 300 pounds on the bar off the top, right? That's what thinking, clearing your mind is equivalent to. You go in and you practice the little stuff first. And so it's really working on noticing when your mind is off of what you want it to be on, and then just bringing it back through using your breath or some type of centering anchor point, right? So it could be 2 seconds. All right, come back. Another 2 seconds go past. All right, come back. You could go for a minute and then realize, oh man, I've been in this thought for a long time and I ain't even been thinking about my breathing. Come back. That's still meditation. That's still a very powerful practice of meditation, because over the time, just like dribbling the basketball, you're going to have handles, and if you put more hours in, you're going to be Brunson with it,
I'm so mad you said Brunson. I thought you were going to say Kyrie Irving. I'm just playing.
Man, listen, Brunson done gained my vote over this last look. Because I wasn't paying no attention to the Knicks until the Timberwolves got beat. And then it was like, all right, well, I guess I'll watch another game. And then I seen what Buddy did in the last games when they were playing. Who they play?
The Spurs. He was whooping on them.
Not the Spurs. Before they played the Spurs. See, don't nobody know. Didn't nobody care out here if you wasn't Timberwolves.
Detroit. No, it wasn't Detroit.
See, don't nobody care.
Because you got to think, no, time out. They haven't played a game since like May something. So how do people even remember who they played?
Right, and then realizing that they've been sweeping everybody. So
it was Detroit. Was it Detroit?
That's why I say
Detroit.
Brunson. Like
it was Detroit.
He the man right now. He the man right now.
But you're right. And I'm happy that you talked about that, like flexing a muscle. Yeah. Meditation is continuing to keep lifting the weight.
But you said the 3 types. And so the type that I wanted to say that I spoke to you about is what I call the follow. So there is the lead, where you lead your mind to wherever you want to go by prayer, by mantra, by whatever it is. You are literally taking your brain to wherever you want it to go. Then there's the follow, which a lot of people think is a negative thing. It's like, oh, I can't control my thought process. Well, through just letting your brain go wherever it goes, you first identify the thing that's at the top of your mind. Secondly, if you follow it enough, you might be able to find out where your creative blocks are or your mental blocks. You can identify those things and act on them. So following your thought process is very much so a very powerful form of meditation. I just wanted to come back to that because you said that.
What's the third?
The third one is the clear, which is the hardest one. And that is, I want to say Vipassana, where basically you're centering yourself, you're scanning yourself, and then you are focusing on your breath. And every time your thought process is outside of your breath, you bring it back.
And that one's the hard one for me. That's why I hit you up that one time. I said, Bruce, I can't focus. I'm not going to lie. I'm the follow. You said following? Following is my practice because my brain won't shut off. And I'm happy that you talked about, I found a lot of my mental blocks. And I'm like, okay, this is why this is always on my mind. And I'm like, okay, Brianna, once you clear that, you could be able to focus. So I'm happy that you explained that to people because that has helped me in my practice. And I do need to get back into it more consistently. I'm not going to lie. But when you have a baby, sometimes you can't even turn your brain off because as soon as you close your eyes, the baby wants the nipple.
You got to be paying attention. Like all of those things just allow you to be present and like aware. That's what mindfulness is. Like my mind is full, but I'm aware of these things, right? Because your mind could be full and you not know that your mind is full and you're just out here on autopilot reacting in reactional mode in a fight or flight state. But like when you're able to pay attention and you're able to say, you know what, this is what's going on. I'm not sleeping and so I'm cranky, or I got this going on and so I'm trying to do everything right now because I feel like I'm on a deadline. Like this, when you're able to identify those things, you're able to just like smooth your life out. Because then you can show up for your partner better. You can show up for yourself better. You can show up for your kids better. You can show up at your job better. You can show up just in the community better. Like it brings clarity.
And I appreciate that. Thank you so much on that. And I want to ask you a question before I go on a new segment. Now I'm about to explain it to you after, once we go into song break. So if you look back at your journey, right, and to get to where you are now, what advice would you give to someone who's really trying to take care of their mental health, physically, emotionally, spiritually, in general, so that they can do what you just said, like show up better for the people around you and just show up better for themselves?
Well, June is Men's Health Month, and some people say men's mental health. But I think that a cool thing, and I think this is across the board thing, is go to the doctor. Go get some answers. Real talk. They got the machines, the technology to tell you a lot of things. And then from there, you can make whatever choices you need to. If you need to do the next step with them, cool. If you need to go into a more holistic practice, if you need to, whatever the next step is for you, then you can make some decisions there. But also, and to complement that, having some type of, I don't want to call it a ritual, but a routine. And this could be a morning routine. This could be an evening routine. It could be in the middle of the day that is focused around self-care, wellness, betterment of you. And that could be meditation. That could be you at the gym. That could be reading a book, anything, because all of these types of practices compound. They lead to other practices like this. Once you hit this rabbit hole, it's kind of hard to come out of it. And even if you do come out of it, you have that information that you can then pass on to the people who need it. You can at least point people in a direction.
I appreciate that. And thank you, Bruce. And when we come back, we got a new segment, and it's called In the Locker Room. And I'm going to prepare Bruce so he can hear this story first. We're going to talk about it in the locker room, okay? And so when we get back, we going to chat about it, y'all. Hey, y'all, we are back, okay? Because what Bruce just told me, I said, I'm sorry, Talila. What's her name? Tyler. Listen, we ain't hearing about don't make me sweat, make me water. We gonna hear about what Bruce just said. Okay. Now, before I'm gonna ask Bruce this question after, because I want this to be on the top of his brain. So inside the locker room, Bruce, you said track got you an opportunity to meet some phenomenal people. Talk about some phenomenal people. This is great. I love this.
Man, yeah. I think that everybody, realistically, it's kind of showing up in culture right now.
Yeah.
Like, everybody wanted to join a run club. Everybody wanted to be in a run club. Why do everybody want to be in a run club? Because the people who run look good. Is the thing. People that run look good. They say runners never die because they always taking care of their body. The cardiovascular system is great. And so running has, and just sports in general, has allowed me to just kind of be able to connect with a lot of dope people. And I did mention
he mentioned some names, and I'm gonna say it. I'm just playing. I'm not gonna say it unless he wants to say it. I'm not gonna say it, but he got that. Listen, I don't know what they did, but them is some supreme top of line quality women.
So
He can't even say it. You know what, Bruce? I'm not gonna make you say it.
So there are, I've been able to meet really like some phenomenal people through athletics and through being able to travel to different states and being able to compete at a high level and just organically. Like, you don't know who these people are. Sometimes you do. You don't know who these people are until like you then go. Because I was born in '85. I was in school when Facebook dropped.
Oh, yeah.
You had to have a college ID. And then they let grandma and them get on there. And it's like, oh, man, I've been on here with college ID, right? And so it was a really cool experience to be able to connect with,
And that's his inside locker. I'm not going to make him say it. But when he said that, I said, cut the break. Okay. It's okay. Listen. Maybe look at his friends. They might follow him. You might get to find out who he was talking about.
If you go on my page, you'll be able to see some pictures.
So send me the pictures so that I can talk about it. But I want to ask you a question before I read my inside the locker room story. How important is it for the practices that we talked about, or ritual or routines for student athletes to have? Like, I told you off air that I didn't know what meditation was, but I was doing it all along. But why is that important for student athletes?
You get to gain control. Again, like I said, transitioning from play to actual structured athletics, there's still a lot of play involved, and it should be involved, but you should also be able to implement control when you need it. And I think that these tools, breath work, mindfulness, yoga, yes, they help with your overall performance, but they also help with your mental, emotional performance, which all of those equal control on the court, on the field, in the pool, on the track, wherever you are. So tap in with like a Wim Hof. Like, if you don't know about Wim Hof and you're an athlete, just go in YouTube or TikTok and type in WIM. This is a person. HOFF. And go down that rabbit hole.
And get to it. So now, this is my first official in the locker room story. And Bruce, I'm hoping to hear your opinion on this because this one's a funny one. So a year after the school won state, we were the next ones up to carry the torch. Our team was excited because we knew we were all talented, but in our own way. The head coach at the time was a very old school, so strict in his own ways. He always compared us to a state championship team, and honestly didn't like our style of play and approach to the game, even though we were super good as individuals and collectively. Our starting point guard and coach were always clashing. So one day our point guard warned him that he needed to chill or else. And of course the coach didn't chill. He doubled down on him and made the point to single this player out in practices. So one day, half of the students was in the school, were glued to the windows and facing the field across the street laughing, and someone is doing donuts in a car in the middle of the field going crazy. So after a while, the car was left in the field and the windows open, and car was running and the music blasting. Coach canceled practice because guess whose car that was? The player stole the coach's car. And he was driving the coach's car on the field. So question, what would your coach have done if he or she found their car in the middle of a football field that someone has stole?
That's funny. That's a really funny story. Really funny story.
Wait, Bruce stole the car, y'all. I see them eyes. Bruce, you done stole your coach's car. Is this Bruce's Leroy's story? I'm just playing.
No, I think that I don't know. It depends on the coach. Being in athletics, and it also depends on the player.
I ain't gonna lie. I ain't want to steal my coach's car, but I definitely wanted to put some nails in some of them shoes. I'm just playing. I'm just kidding. Just joking. Just joking. I had great coaches. Just
in the
joking.
locker room. That's the. Okay, I think I have one that's not too crazy. Because again, I play football, so the locker room stories is wild.
Yeah, I don't want to hear all y'all locker room stories.
Them locker room
that
stories.
Was pre.
Yeah,
that was pre
HBO
pictures.
special.
Girls taking pictures like this.
We actually had a dude. We had the lockers that could close. We actually had a dude that had a girl inside the locker. That outside, so my first school I went to was Indiana State. Indiana State is known for basketball more than anything. Okay. And I ended up leaving Indiana State just because it wasn't for me there. But I think one of the reasons why I didn't want to be there would irk me every time I would come to practice or go to a game, because inside of the football locker room, there was a big old picture of you know who? Larry Bird. In the football locker room.
In the football locker room?
A big old picture of Larry Bird in there. I was like, this, I don't know if y'all are focused on the right things.
He said, so I'm going to have to leave.
Yeah, so it was other reasons.
And I appreciate it. Listen, I mean, Larry Bird, he put in.
He the man.
He put him on the map.
Larry Bird is that dude.
Oh, okay? 100%.
I don't know if Larry played football, though. I don't know if he.
I don't think he did either. I watched a couple documentaries. I don't think he ever talked about playing. He ain't played no football.
Sure
but he was giving you inspiration.
A code with the 3-pointer, not the pigskin.
I'm cracking up. So let's get to our word of the day, and we're going to wrap up. Bruce, how can everybody find you on social media? And I'm going to get my word of the day, and we're going to be out.
Depending on which Bruce you're looking for. On Facebook, I'm Bruce Brilliance, legendarybruce.com, Legendary Bruce on all other social media platforms. I'm working on a cool project with Homegrown Lacrosse and Peace and Practice, so you can go to homegrownmovement.com and check that out, sneak preview. Outside of that,
that's it. That's all.
Catch me where you catch me.
100%. And Bruce has inspired my word of the day today. And this one is off the dome, so hopefully I get it right. But the word of the day today is this: if you have control of your mind, you can control your future, and all in God's timing. And that's what I was getting when I was talking to you today. So I don't know who that registered with, but it registered in my spirit. So peace, love, happiness, and success, y'all. And I am going to see y'all again next Monday. We are out of here.
We out of here. Thank you, Bree.
4, 3, 2, 1.